Okay, welcome to the first market report, starting with the USA Bricklink market. First in a new series of looking at the data, really. Massive thanks to Julian at BL Metrics for assisting me and drawing down some crucial data, which I think will be fascinating as we walk through this. A quick overview of kind of the global situation through the month of October, and then a little bit more of a deep dive into the USA Bricklink stores, and then a focus on a handful of specific stores and just giving an overview of where they sit. And some of those will be well known to you, no doubt. So in terms of the scale of the market globally, as of recording on Friday the 7th of November, there are 18,690 Bricklink stores listed, of which 6,385 of those are in the United States, giving them 34.2% of the market share. For context, and given that I am in Australia, the Australian market is 916 stores, only 4.9% of the market, so significantly different in scale. In fact, so significant, the US market is 600 times bigger than the Australian one, so incredible scale. So bit of a global overview for you kind of through the month of October, and once again thanks Julian for the data. Worldwide, the total value of sales was 7,996,307. So yes, Lego Group is making or transacting $8 million through Bricklink in the month of October. Of that, 2.8 million was US based, 3.451 million is European based. As you can see, the UK is probably twice the size of Australia, and Canada, surprisingly, has quite a small market. I did not imagine that. The USA is 35% of the value. The EU accounts for 43% of the value, whilst other is 10%, UK 7%, Australia 3%, and Canada 2%. A little bit of a look at specific part types across those brackets. As you can see from this, 90,369 total orders in the US market through the month of October. The average value of that was $31.04. The price per piece on that calculation is 13 cents per piece, which is an interesting change. These numbers are running in US dollars. Yeah, they're all in US dollars, so that will give you a good overview of that and the other jurisdictions. Feel free to pause and peruse this at more leisure. In terms of used parts, USA sold 4,398,758 used parts with an average price per piece of 17 cents. So a big jump in value, and certainly the best value or the best price per piece globally for used parts, whilst it was also the case for new parts. So they definitely have a higher part value than other jurisdictions. Through minifigures, that isn't strictly true, because the UK has a higher price per figure value than any other country at $8.74. The USA is not too far behind, and as you can see, Australia sitting in third, and then the other jurisdictions for new. And then in used, the USA retakes that crown of having the biggest price per piece, i.e. minifigures in this case. So let's just look at some of the top line averages from that. Over the year to date, the average order value is worked out at $29.19. The average price per piece for new is $13, and for used it is $17. 68% of total sales in the US market are new parts, and 63% of sale value is also new parts. But 13% of that value is also minifigures, which leaves you the simple equation of 24% of the market value is used. So a little bit lower than it was here in Australia. The used market is far more developed here, it would seem. Okay, we are going to jump out of here and into BL metrics for a moment or two, so that we can look at some of the statistics around the stores. And if you are keen on using BL metrics, I do have a discount code, 50% off your first month. You can jump in, give it a go, see if you like it, try out the features. There are some pretty significant features now, from pricing formulas, smart pricing, store arbitrage, set recommendations, and the like. It is a crucial tool in my store anyway. So the biggest store is ND Toys. They're sitting at 16,111,000 parts and 12% under the 6 months average, with a store value not as high as the next one down, but $1.7 million worth of inventory. Holy moly. Although they don't do that many daily orders, whereas Brick Vibe are doing 38 orders a day, 14 million point two parts, and a value of 1.985 million, and 41% above the 6 months average. Incredible. In terms of that scale, ones that you would know the name of are all the way down here somewhere. Pop's Block Shop appears somewhere down here. Just a Brick in a Bucket, although they are now closed, was 46th in scale, and everyone else must be on the next pages. Let's change that to unique lots and see what we get. As it switches, BBB Brick Store has the most unique lots at 45,000. They're only doing 4 sales a day. GBL is in next, 18 daily orders with 43,702. In terms of the lots, anyone here jump out that we're kind of familiar with? No, is the answer to that. Nobody jumping out. In terms of the daily orders, let's have a look who's performing well here. Brick Vibe, top of the shop, amazingly amazing. I'm not too familiar with a lot of these names. Probably my limited knowledge is from kind of YouTubers. Just a Brick in a Bucket counting on 11 there. Pop's Block Shop doing 9 there. But other than that, these are kind of a mystery to me, but it's interesting all the same. So let's jump to where are we going? We're going here. So quick overview is what we'll do of these 6 stores. So Derek from Pop's Block Shop, obviously kind of a familiar name to everybody. I can't remember what the guy's name is. Indy Brick Den. Life Bricks, I think, is his YouTube channel. Just a Brick in a Bucket, clearly one of the kind of originators of Bricklink YouTubers. Ralph's Bricks, also a YouTuber, and kind of in, you know, there's quite a grouping over there in the US of sharing ideas between Pop's Block Shop, Just a Brick in a Bucket, the Brick Dynasty, Ralph's Bricks, and other people. So a quick look at those. A little look at Brick Dynasty, another YouTube based store, and Brick Barn Bricks even, also taking a look. And thanks to everyone that suggested stores to take a look at over on the YouTube vlogs. So let's have a little overview and a look under the hood, shall we? We looked at the 6. As you can see, Brick Dynasty is showing up as having no daily orders. That's not quite true when you take it over October, but we'll get to that. Second column is the items in the store, meaning Just a Brick in a Bucket is the biggest here, with Pop's Block Shop second and Brick Dynasty being the smallest here. In terms of lots, Pop's Block Shop number 2, Pop's number 1, Ralph's number 2, and Indy Brick Den being the smallest of the stores for lot count, unique lots that is. Plus or minus on the 6 months average, bit of a range here. Pop's is 2% under, Indy Brick Den is 23% under, whilst Just a Brick in the Bucket is 46% under, but they were running a very aggressive sale before closing up. Meanwhile, Ralph's Bricks 42% over, Brick Dynasty 49% over, and Barn Bricks sitting at 13% under. Store values, Pop's is the highest value at 124,874 USD. Next up is Ralph's, followed by Just a Brick in a Bucket, despite them being closed. And we are then looking at Brick Dynasty being the smallest. And I've missed out their price per piece, but I can work that out as we're talking. Price per piece. Now, given that the average for new and used was 13 over 17, these are fairly consistent. So Pop's Block Shop sitting at 12 cents on price per piece. I'm trying to do the calculator while I'm talking. Whilst Indy Den at 11, Ralph's at 18, Brick Dynasty at 17, and Barn Bricks at 11, and Pop's Just a Brick in the Bucket is sitting at, let's have a look, 1509481 gives them a 0.037, so 4 cents is their kind of price per piece. But as I say, they have been hammering their sale. In terms of the percentage of parts that account for the store value, yeah, quite a range here too. 99.1% Just a Brick in the Bucket, 91.3% from Pop's Block Shop, which is a surprise given he does have an awful lot of minifigures, but Just a Brick in the Bucket really didn't do minifigures. 90% for Ralph's Bricks, 88.7% for Barn Bricks, Brick Dynasty sitting at 87%, and Indy Brick Den at 68.4% of his store value coming from parts, which might mean minifigures and sets are kind of where a lot of his value is stashed. So looking at the data that, and I'll just show you how I did that so that it makes sense. So if we look at Pop's Block Shop, I can go through this and I can say on October the 1st, total orders were 20,964, and by October 31st they were sitting at 21,244. So that gives me their orders. Why is that not working? Let's get in there. I want that 0.4. Why is it not working? Anyway, 4 cents for that. So that's how it works for that. 0.04. There you go. Oh, that's why. The field is not big enough. There we go. Sorted. Okay. Nope. Oh, bear with me, eh? This is a bit of a... There we go. Right. So, using that method of calculation, I can see how many sales have happened across the month of October. Just a Brick in the Bucket, caning it at 444, followed by Pop's Block Shop at 280, Barn Bricks at 200, And then Indy Brick Den 160, Ralph's Bricks 64, and Brick Dynasty at 19. Now, given that their daily orders were sitting at 0, I am figuring they had a bit of a shutdown where they didn't do any orders. But now, this is where the other calculation comes in. So the USA average sale is $29.19. So that gives us what we could project each of these stores made based on that averaging. So the estimated average sales for them would be this column. Now, what I need to do though is adjust for their 6 months average plus or minus, which gives us this final column. So top earner would be Pop's Block Shop through the month of October, 280 sales, giving him a total of $8,000 there or thereabouts. Next one down would be Brick in a Bucket, even though they were hammering the sale at 46%. That was at 12,000, don't forget, with 6,998, followed by Barn Bricks at 5,079. And I just repeat, these are kind of working on averages. It doesn't account for small orders and large orders. It does give us an idea of a notional figure. Obviously, if you've watched my previous reports, you know there's another way that I can dive in and be fairly accurate by calculating parts out and parts in of the store, but to do that over an entire month is a little bit of a task, so I did not. And that's it really. It gives us a bit of an overview of all the stores. As you can see, there are plenty of bits of data to be accessed over here. You can see the inventory condition value and stuff like that of new versus used and whatnot. And for those of you that wonder how that data all came together, this is that month by month USA at the top here. Let me just blow that up a little bit in case anyone just wants to pause the video at this point and go through this with a bit of a finer tooth comb. If you're wondering why January, February, March aren't entered, that's because BL Metrics only launched at the mid-March, so there isn't a full month's worth of data. But nice little formulas working for me here, kind of delivering all of that goodness. So that's the USA Bricklink market. I hope you found that interesting. Plans to do the other markets in the future. If you have a preference, leave a comment down below, and don't forget the discount code also in the comments if you want to jump onto BL Metrics and get into some nerdy data. Thanks for watching.